Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I do not have a prepared speech, especially nothing as eloquent as the young man from Youngsville or Miss Bailey. I do have an advanced degree, however. I just have a few questions. Number one that came up in your discussions this evening is mentioning that for the east attendance area that you feel that you could get everyone to school in 1 hour or less. Is that going to be all within the same time frame, or is that multiple runs with the school buses? Are these kids going to be having to wake up really early and then falling asleep in class? Number two, I'm curious with the areas of concern, Elbert, Triumph, Watson, Deerfield, and Limestone townships. How many of those children are cyber schooling? That was not mentioned. Another concern is class sizes, combining grades 9 through 12 classes. While you might have additional classes available, looks like your class sizes in some of these schools, especially Warren and Eisenhower, particularly Warren, are fairly large. So that is a concern. Another concern is the sports and other extracurricular activities, band, etc. It mentions in your outline that we might have more competitive teams. However, if it's offered at multiple schools, we have more opportunities for more participants who may not be stellar players, but they're all getting that discipline and teamwork that is so important as a life skill. I think that's pretty much all that I had to say and what I had to ask, so I thank you for your time.
Good evening, and thank you for holding these public engagement sessions, and I pray and hope that you really do listen to our voices and take everything into consideration with open minds and hear our worries. I want to start off, the last master facilities plan was completed on August 18th, 2011, not 2008. That was stated on Jet 24 that aired on March 6, 2023. In this report, under the recommendations, I am going to read recommendation number 3, and I quote, administration and board members will continually monitor the financial condition of the school district and consider closing WAHS if financial problems do not improve, end quote. After reading this analysis, it was also found that their engagement sessions were offered at all 4 high schools, and they really got community input, whereas these engagement sessions are occurring in this building that is not centrally located. I ask and urge the board to consider having more engagement sessions than what's planned, and invite the community members of each of the 4 high schools that are still standing and actually be part of the community and hear our concerns. You will have more people come to these because a lot of people, I had to go home, I was home for 5 minutes, to get back here was ridiculous. I had to spend 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. Next, I want to discuss transportation. Before any options can truly be explored, I would think the district would consider looking at transportation costs. This was brought up at the last board meeting, and no one has even considered looking at the transportation costs or the time on a bus these students will endure. Studies have shown that riding on long bus rides shows decrease in academics and increase in absenteeism. These plans should be made available to the public, and also talking to the different bus companies should be on your agenda. How are they going to have the manpower to have these routes? And do they even have enough staff? That's where this should be starting, not where options are. Next, I don't think you will find many people who disagree that some sort of consolidation needs to happen. However, not in the aspects that you're proposing. Why not make Youngsville a K-12? That will close one building, which then can be sold off or rented out. Why not move your central office to one of the underutilized buildings that is more centralized and sell the current central office, which is in a great area, and to me would be a great retirement home or assisted living for the elderly that is greatly needed in our area. The last board meeting, it was brought up about updates to the Pleasant Elementary School, and we all looked at each other and wondered why. Why are we renovating the Pleasant Elementary School? We would like to know that too. Lastly, I urge you to consider the online submission from Mr. Mark Lindbergh, who was a former teacher of mine and a very smart man. His proposal of having 5 local school boards while still remaining a Warren County school district would solve a lot of distrust between the communities and the board. His idea is very innovative, and a lot of us believe it will work. For those of you who are listening, please go to 2 schools, 1 fight. That's the number 2 schools, the number 1 fight.org. You'll see the vision there, and that's what a lot of us are standing behind. Again, thank you for your time, and please remember, our children are amazing. They are not a number on a piece of paper that a company puts them on. They are our kids, and they're the ones that is going to be affected by this. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Hello, my name is Dan Sullivan. I'm here today as a coach and as a father. A few years ago, me and another coach took over a small youth wrestling program in Youngsville. This program only had 10 to 12 kids signed up at a time, with only 8 kids lasting the season. Through a lot of hard work and dedication of these kids, we have grew the program to 62 kids in this program, with 5 state qualifiers in the PJWs, 3 Keystone State qualifiers this year. We have accomplished this by having our program right after school. It makes it easier for our kids and their families. Now, as a coach, we are often the person that these kids can look to for more than just coaching advice. These kids look to us for advice in life. They look to us when they're having problems in school. They look to us to be the person to stand up for them in times of need. Now, these kids are not my biological kids, but they're all my kids. Me and myself and any of my assistant coaches will go to any lengths to protect these kids. So a lot of our kids, they live in Youngsville, which makes it easier for these kids to participate in wrestling. Some kids live in outlying communities such as Pittsfield, Dartmouth, Grand Valley. Do you really feel that these kids will get the same opportunity when they're expected to travel great more distances? Having sports within the community that these kids live in gives these kids the opportunity and a chance to participate in the sport. By segregating these kids from their communities, you are taking away their chances and their opportunity as kids and young adults. Some of these kids do not have the means to do what you're asking them to do and travel. I am constantly asked by a lot of parents, can my kid participate? You know, they have ADHD or they have problems in these schools. The answer is always yes. We work with these kids and always seem to hear from the parents or their teachers that these kids perform better in school. They're acting better, they're just behaving better in school just from the impact we're having on them. Do you think by taking these kids away from the community, you're creating more hardships on these kids, that this is going to have a positive impact on them? The answer is no. Unfortunately, if your plan goes through, we will have tons of kids that are just forgotten about. They will never get the opportunity they deserve. You as a board are going to have to ask yourselves, do these kids matter? Thank you.
If the master facilities plan review has been underway for years, then where is the compiled data on all district buildings and properties, including the virtual one? The school assessment and utilization reports that I've seen appear to be contrived and incomplete. The bar graphs on the assessment seem to indicate that certain schools will require millions of dollars while others appear as a budget bargain. Unless you just dropped into Warren County, you know that millions of dollars have already been spent on certain schools. You cannot ignore the past expenditures to date. Real data includes the true cost of each facility, including purchase, construction, and renovation costs, debts owed, grants received, and dispersed, etc. I'm concerned that there is an implementation plan meeting just 2 months away. If we're not here to prepare for school closures in May, that's great. I think most of us attending would prefer to spend time focusing on educational opportunities, community involvement, and new ideas. But when you need to hire a third party to organize your own school data or coordinate meetings and opinion surveys, there is an immense amount of room for improvement. Unless you can transparently produce the educational and taxpayer benefits to all of Warren County with a school closure, please do not proceed with any such plans. Warren County needs communities. Warren County derives value from the sum of its parts. Warren County deserves better education and less spending by the district.
My name is Walter Cook. I come to you as a coach, grandparent, and taxpayer of Warren County. I am a resident of Sheffield, PA, and a grandparent of children of 3 who also live in Sheffield. Small schools offer students many opportunities and chances for recognition and rewards than larger schools. Hometown schools are quicker and easier for students to get to, so there is greater opportunity for students to participate in after-school activities, and there are greater opportunities for their families and communities to attend their activities and to show their support. Small schools also have many great clubs and other opportunities such as choir programs and band programs. Students in small schools have pride in their schools and communities and attending school events. They do fundraisers and they are eager to volunteer. The property values of the community are higher because they have their own school and they are united as a community in support of their school. Research shows that smaller schools outperform larger schools. You will find that school districts that have shut down their smaller school buildings and consolidated into large ones have deep regrets about their consolidation, but the damage has already been done and the school's achievement suffers as a result of their actions. I am not sure why the school board would want to destroy what is working so well in each community. Why would they seek to destroy both student and community pride? Why would they take away all the opportunities that a small school offers by closing down their sports programs, their clubs, their successful band and choir programs? Why would they want to separate them from their family, friends, and from the support of their communities? Why would someone want to take away the rewards that the students in their small schools receive when they are so successful as demonstrated by the high percentage rates of graduation? Why create a situation where many of the students who are thriving in the small schools would more likely fall through the cracks? Has anyone asked the students in the small schools how they would feel if they were ripped away from their small towns where they were happy and felt connected? I contend that the Warren Area School students would suffer as well, since because the larger school gets, the less opportunity the students will have to be successful and be recognized. What is the benefits to the students or to the communities by taking them out of their own home school buildings, closing down the school programs, and burdening many of them with impossible long bus rides? No one from the current school board has had the courage to even visit these communities and ask the parents and students how they feel about closing the schools that they take such pride in, and it doesn't seem as if they care. From what I understand, they refuse to communicate with the public in spite of the fact that these needs to be transparency and accountability for any action taken by the board. Thank you very much.